recording?
Oh, yeah, we've been recording.
We've been recording, brother.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. As we move the podcast, it is week 3 of Emilio Estevez. And I just want to say right now, here's to another shitty day.
You can't just drink that off the bat. You gotta give proper context to what you're drinking.
Also, nobody can see you drinking it.
That's a fair point. So we watched Loaded Weapon 1, in that, strong suit of films that they just decided to name the first one and never make a sequel.
Well, I think that was the joke.
That's the joke. It's like History of the World Part 1, right?
Yeah,
in the movie, Emilio Estevez comes back.
Well, they made a sequel to that. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you watched it?
I watched, part of the first episode. It's bad.
Poor Ike Barinholtz. I actually like that dude, but it seems like everything gets mixed up with lately. He's not great.
Yeah, I like him a lot, too.
He was good in the Unbearable Weight of Incredible Talent or whatever, but he's a minor role in it.
Yeah.
He's barely in there.
But anyway, Emilio comes home and makes a cocktail of Jack Daniels, vodka, and Bushmills and chocolate syrup.
Yeah.
And chocolate syrup. So I said I would try it live on the show for the first time, so I whipped it up myself. So here we go. That's fucking disgusting. That is. Oh, it's wretched. It tastes like
the worst
coffee.
Part?
It tastes like the science. It tastes like.
Can I clip chimp that video? I'll crop out your name.
That's fine. Yeah, but it is. Oh my god! It tastes like if you were drinking burnt coffee out of an old Nike. It is like. It is not.
And you're going for a sip too.
I want to see if I got confirmed. It is unpleasant.
Your face.
It is so unpleasant. It is. I don't know, maybe it's growing on me.
He's going back, folks.
As the ice melts, it might be getting.
It's going to become your favorite drink.
Is this going to be one of those things where it's your favorite drink now because you're just going to fucking commit to it? And
no, it's not.
You're just going to lock yourself into a corner and
Is it better or worse than Malort?
Ooh, good question. Why
better,
think about it?
But different. I'm inoculated to Malort. This tastes like this legitimately tastes like an old leather book. If you were to suck on an old leather book, I feel like that's what this would taste like. It tastes like strangely like a saddle.
It needs more chocolate. Probably.
It
needs more chocolate syrup.
On the ratio,
whose saddle is that? Uncle Tate's?
On the ratio, I put more chocolate syrup in here than anything else.
I've been on the saddle pert near 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, well, there's that. We watched Loaded Weapon, and this
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
I know Emilio didn't really drink it in the movie, but God bless it. As a character, if you drank conservatively 20 to 24 ounces of this.
Yeah, he poured it in this huge plastic tumbler.
He poured it in like a bullet shaker. He had fucking thing was giant. Anywho.
Shout out to the plastic tumbler glasses from the early 90s. I love those things.
Oh,
I still have some.
30-ounce cups.
With the little bubbles in them?
Well, some like that. I just like giant cups.
Yeah, giant cups.
You ever go to somebody's house and they don't have any novelty, I took this from the stadium or a movie theater or McDonald's cups, and you're like, oh, you're rich.
Yeah, it's weird.
My wife would heist cups from the bars in her purse, on the regular in college.
My house growing up, that's it was 80% of our cups. We had the Batman Forever cups, the Garfield cups,
the Disney jelly jars.
Yeah. Yes,
oh yeah.
Yes.
I thought glasses was just an antiquated way. Oh, back when they used to make cups out of glass, it's oh no, they actually make them out of glass still. We were just too poor to have them.
Remember does anyone else have this memory of when the episode 1 came out and Dan Wachter went to our local movie theater and he helped them unload the special episode 1 30-ounce Pepsi cups. Like,
yes.
He was helping the people because he was waiting for the movie that early. And he heisted an entire case of them, and he was handing out 10 cups at a swing to anyone in the parking lot. I had those cups through college.
Shout out to where the fuck Dan Wachter is.
Yeah, Dan Wachter. If you're still out there doing it, I hope you really are.
I hope you're still out there stealing.
I hope you're still out there stealing promotional material.
All right, let's get into what we watched this week, because I think we'll have a lot to talk about Loaded Weapon. What did you watch this week, Sean?
Basketball playoffs.
Oh yeah,
Alec.
At least two things.
At least two things.
Hold please.
Hold please.
Yeah, three things.
Three things.
That's at least two.
That is at least two.
Okay, first thing. Actually, they were all rewatches from varying times in my life. The first thing I watched was I rewatched that movie Bad Trip with Eric Andre and Lil Rel, where it's like the prank show movie.
Talking about that a little.
It's really fucking funny.
Yeah, I remember you saying you really liked it.
Like, I was dying again watching it. Eric Andre, I think he's so funny.
That is.
I can see where his mileage may vary for some people because he can be a bit much, but I think he's fucking great. I think Lil Rel is great too. Like the two of them together.
That movie is kind of like, what was that?
Pineapple Express? Oh.
No. Isn't it like, it's a real movie, but then like the pranks are like Jackass style where they actually are real?
They're Gonzo or something?
Yeah. That literally is exactly what it is.
Well, you remember, Gogs, you remember was it Bad Grandpa with Johnny Knoxville where like, it had a story, but like the pranks they did were like the Jackass style pranks?
Yeah, show with a plot. It was like they took old people.
Him and Spike Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, funny stuff. I have to watch it. Was it on anything, Al?
It's a Netflix original, so it's on Netflix.
Oh, it's a Netflix original. Like we talk about most Netflix originals, they promote it for a week and then it's just like, poof, like you forget that they exist, you know?
Yep. On to the next thing.
I've only recently come to appreciate how funny the Eric Andre show is. That show.
Oh, I'm really surprised about that.
I had no idea. I am just within the last 3 months. I just did a deep dive, and like him and Hannibal Buress are just hilarious.
Hannibal Buress is great. He's hilarious. The next thing I rewatched Ford v Ferrari the other day.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
That movie is so good. Like, I absolutely love that movie. Everyone's so awesome in it. I don't know who directed that. James Mangold?
Yeah, James Mangold directed that.
He made 2 bangers in a row.
Yeah, that movie fucking slaps. That movie is just like, everyone's so good. The story is great. Like, you just want to take Leo Beebe's head and just smash it in a car door 1,000 times. Because he's just such a scumbag to that whole movie.
It makes you want to get into auto racing and then immediately not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I don't care.
That shit is super boring.
I found some shit. I found some something called Arena Super Truck recently, where they legitimately have moguls and jumps, and they're doing this in the middle of a city.
You showed me that. Yeah.
I was thinking what was that Ivan Stewart's what was that Nintendo game? Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road.
Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball? No,
I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball. Yes,
but Google for our listener at home. Look up Arena Super Truck because these shits are launching intentionally 15, 20 feet in the air like Dukes of Hazzarding all over this bitch. It's tremendous.
Have you guys seen those clips of that fucking 7-on-7 no pads football league where those guys are just murdering each other?
No.
Oh, shit.
That sounds awful.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. That sounds like that underground fight club where it's bare knuckle and the basement. Remember, it was in that what's that guy's that YouTube guy that we like, Sean Napoleon Bonaparte or whatever.
Oh, Blown Apart, yeah.
Blown Apart, yeah.
Wasn't there there's a city in Italy that just has a full blown bare knuckle war every year that you're allowed to enter, and just like it's two groups of people just kicking the shit out of each other on a soccer pitch.
Yeah, but it's all
that sounds
Western
insane.
Europeans. None of them can fight.
Yeah,
That sounds like a God's fever dream.
Yeah, really.
I'm almost certain it's real.
I thought of Gog's fake because I saw a story was in the Times or something where it's like hand found on sidewalk from man who cut off other man's arm with sword. I'm like, oh shit, Gog's loose.
God's
on the
out
loose.
there living his best life.
Hell yeah.
That movie is tremendous. I think this is the second or third time I've seen it, and it just gets better every time. And I'm not a car guy at all. I don't give a shit about cars.
Yeah.
But it's just, what's his name? Christian Bale, and that's like one of Matt Damon's best performances.
He's really good in that movie.
He's good in most things, though, I would posit.
Yeah, but he's been way better since he got stung by all those bees.
Yeah.
That whole, every time I get amped up for that scene where there's the airport and Henry Ford comes to tell him that, Ken Miles can't be the driver. And he gets him in the car with him and he just brings him around and he starts crying like a baby at the end. I had no idea. I had no idea how hard it is.
Dude, that Carol Shelby shit where it's like, you don't really like rednecks in real life, but like I love movie rednecks, you know what I mean? When he comes in a helicopter, all that cowboy shit, like hell yeah, we're gonna put together a race car.
He landed, he just knocked the pilot out of the cockpit. He's like, I'll take a whack at it. I used to fly with these back in '44.
The Carol Shelby custom convertible Ponzi scheme he was running is also just phenomenal.
What happened? I don't even know about that.
Oh, so no, it was happening in the movie. He was selling cars to people to then take that money to buy the parts to build the car for the last guy. He had none of the money. He's broke ass
Well, that was the beginning
shell
of
game.
His relationship with Ford, right? He was just pushing money around to stay in business.
Yeah. Basically.
But then once he got the Ford contract, he was a millionaire.
He was golden.
Or billionaire.
I love that.
I guess the only thing that I was reading about the movie this time as I was watching it, and the movie makes it seem like they got back from Le Mans and Ken Miles died pretty soon after.
Right.
But I guess it was a few years later. And the two of them actually created the car that won Le Mans 4 straight years.
Yeah.
It was the only car to ever win it 4 straight times.
That
GT done it since.
That GT50 was untouchable for a very brief stretch.
Yeah.
I wonder why they wouldn't mention that. That seems it's not like it would ruin the ending or something.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think to make it seem more tragic towards Ken Miles, because it ends with him kind of getting screwed out of winning, and he never goes back and wins again as a racer, but he ended up helping build the car that won it 4 times. So it makes him seem a little more sympathetic. Not that he wasn't anyway, but
yeah.
But that movie's tremendous. That's
really good.
That's one of those. I feel like
Ferrari. BT.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, and
fuck a Leo Beebe and
Lee Iacocca.
Give me Lee Iacocca, John Bernthal, Lee Iacocca all day long, but real Lee Iacocca sucking dick.
Give me the Lee Iacocca from fucking Watchmen. He's in our favorite scene. Don't bite down on that cyanide capsule use.
Son of a bitch.
Leah
got more mileage out of that line.
Oh, but man, Bernthal's Iacocca is
Bernthal. Bernthal.
Have we watched that movie for the show yet?
Yeah, we did watch Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
I was gonna say
we didn't.
Next month.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure.
We all watched the shit out of it
because it came out right before the Moleys. It came out Christmas time. I think we all saw it right before.
I could have sworn that we reviewed it. I could.
Alex left his Blu-ray copy at my house for 3 months, and I watched it 5 times.
The movie with Chris Hemsworth and
Driven.
No, Rush. I thought we reviewed it before then. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We can watch it again.
That movie's tremendous, and that might if we haven't watched it, that's probably going to be my pick for June Bernthal. because that movie's just so good. He's in a lot of good movies though.
Yeah, he's in a lot of good stuff. He's in a lot of
He's
trash too.
John Bernthal, pretty good actor.
Big fan.
Not
He's
too
in
bad.
he's in Haywire, right?
Yes.
That's
We watched 4 minutes of Haywire, and Alex said, "No thanks."
Tapped out at Haywire.
I somehow got a veto in the middle of a movie. And then did we watch Major League 2 or 3? I think
3.
2.
Or no,
Was
2.
it 3?
Okay, we watched, 2, you're right, it was 2.
Because it was an upgrade. 3 probably wouldn't have been an upgrade. The last thing I watched, we just rewatched the other day, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh
Nice.
wow, I haven't seen that movie in a million years.
That movie's fun, and like Rick Moranis is such a good actor. He's so good in his little like niche, like nebbish little nerd. But that movie's really good, and it's not that long, and it's still like the effects in it like kind of hold up. Like considering it was a Disney live action movie from like 1990.
Is that Zemeckis or no?
I think it is Zemeckis.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What's funny,
But,
like none of the kids from that ever got famous, right?
I don't think so.
No, but they did get small.
That is fair.
And then in the next movie, they got big, or one of them got big. That was a lot of fun, and if people don't know Rick Moranis' story, look into that. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But he's starting to act again. I think they have a very long sequel to that coming out soon.
What happened to Rick Moranis?
His wife passed away.
Yeah, his wife died of cancer, so he stopped acting. He had enough money, he just stopped acting so he could raise his family.
Yeah.
Which I guess his wife passing away is sad. That's good on him for just stepping away so he could be with his family instead of
Well, I imagine
acting and kind of neglecting his kids
he rewatched Streets of Fire and said, "You know what? I've done enough."
Yeah. Streets of Fire where he played the fucking coxman. It's still the weirdest casting ever.
Hey, babe, why don't you shut your tits up so we can get out of here?
And not only played it, but fucking nailed it.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, he was awesome in that movie. Yeah, 100%. Anything else, Mr. Alec?
No. No, I don't think so. Gogs.
I watched two things. I forgot.
Two things?
I watched, one was a rewatch and one was a new watch. I rewatched 2001: A Space Odyssey. Pretty good film. 2001:
Is that
Space
the
Odyssey.
first time you've watched that?
No, I've watched that movie 3 or 4 times, I think.
I love that movie. It's so good.
It's pretty.
That seems like, and this isn't a bad thing, but that seems like such an anti-Gogs movie. Because it's so whatever you want it to be at the end. You know what I'm saying?
But Gogs does love science. And that is a very science fiction-y movie.
Well,
hold on, pause. You can't see it because you're driving. He's still drinking that drink.
It's growing on me. It's
God.
not good. It's not good, but it's not.
I'm gonna be the first person to get in a drunken driving accident watching him drink.
I'm sorry. I'm watching him. It's literally no, don't do it. Stop. He's going back.
No, I think it's an oral fixation. It's just something to do.
Pour yourself a different drink, man.
I gotta step away. Let me finish something about 2001. Pretty good movie, 2001.
Oh my god.
Pretty good. I do have a question though, because I remember watching 2010, the year we made contact.
Another good movie. Not as good as the first, but
isn't it explained that Hal went the way he did because he was given some sort of paradox loop?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a retcon. Yeah.
Read the books. They're fucking insane.
Gods, I don't know. I'm sure because we've talked about this movie so much, but the book wasn't finished when the movie was, so it was not.
So Kubrick kind of just.
Yeah.
Wait, how was the book not? Was it
they commissioned
or something, or was it
they commissioned Arthur C. Clarke to write the book as they were making the movie, and Arthur C. Clarke also helped write the script, but they were made concurrently, which is kind of weird.
Like those Scholastic books you would buy in elementary school, which were the novelizations.
Kind of. And the books
there's 10 of those books.
Well, the first three are the only that I read, and they're fucking nuts. Like, what's his name comes back to life? Like, what the
Bowman.
other Bowman comes back.
Cool.
Does he come back to life in 20? No, he doesn't come back in 2010. That's still.
He's
a
what's
smart
his name?
child.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Hal merges with the other guy and becomes like Howl Man. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it goes real 70s, even though it's in the 90s.
Those fucking books are insane.
Yeah.
I think 2001. Like I mean, I've talked about this movie a lot too. Like Sean said, like I honestly every time I watch it, I can't believe that movie was made in like what 1963. I think it was. Like,
yeah, seriously, watch any other movie from 1963. Shit, watch Star Trek Insurrection. You know what I mean? That movie still like looks worse in 2001. No, but like it is a very hard science movie up until like the pivotal scene, and then it's just weird drug magic. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's 68. Sorry, I was off. Well, the other thing is talking about the book to the movie. So like the journey to Jupiter and beyond or whatever, like that's real trippy and weird. But the original Arthur C. Clarke screenplay had a narration through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And in the book, it's explained explicitly what's happening. But Kubrick hated it because he's like, well, it doesn't. Well, and he's right. Like, he was right to take it out because it makes it a lot more powerful because they're not telling you exactly what the fucking character is going through.
I want to say in the third book, Bowman is the space, now he's like space teenager or whatever, actually like stops a bunch of nuclear missiles as they're being fired or some shit like that. Like,
that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. Yeah. It might happen in the end of the second book, but it does happen. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I read those, but anyway.
I checked them out of my fucking middle school library and it ruined my entire life. Like,
my crazy ass, for some fucking reason, because I think the third one came out like while we were in high school.
Yeah.
I had a hardcover edition of that book.
Was it white with like black dots on it or something? Like,
how the fuck do you remember that? Yes, it was. It's so weird.
Because I checked out the same fucking hardcover you did.
but I owned five.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't sign off on buying.
I must have spent like $50 on that book. Like, for what? Anyway. All right. Anything else, guys?
Do you remember that book thing that was like Columbia Music House?
Yes.
Where you could buy all these sci-fi books for
I got a Marvel, like a Marvel coffee table, like A to Z Marvel handbook book from that.
I had the Andromeda Strain. I had
love that book.
I had Dune. I got a copy of Dune because of that. But yeah, I definitely had that. Absolutely. Yeah.
I got the novelization of The Death of Superman graphic novel.
Wow.
And then a bunch of Star Trek books.
Oh, I remember
Dark Mirror, the one with the evil Enterprise crew from the alternate dimension, because they all had beards.
Oh, I remember.
Generation.
I remember a good one.
Didn't have a beard.
I remember a good one I got from that book club. I got this is so fucking weird. I got Harlan Ellis's screenplay for I, Robot. It was a book. It was so weird.
Way before the movie.
Yeah, way before.
I think I also ended up in that getting like 2 or 3 Forgotten Realms books, and I'm like, what the fuck is a Drizzt Erden? Like,
hey, those books were good. Shut up. I love
man, fuck you.
Stupid, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. If we could go to the 12-year-old TJ, because I read all the Dragonlance books, right? I love Dragonlance, and there was a wizard in Dragonlance named Roslin, and he was a bad guy, and he showed up in the Forgotten Realms books, and that's how I started reading those, because that was Forgotten Realms was like D&D with like monsters and vampires and shit in it. Oh god.
Yeah.
I love that shit so much. I hate that shit. And Elric. Anybody remember Elric? It was about an elf that had like a blood sword. That shit was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like a fucking like
I don't remember that one.
You remember when all the books at the grocery store had like gimmick covers, like there'd be a window in the cover to see it, or like the front cover would be like cut part way so it revealed something else. Yeah, I think that's the fucking blood sword. Yeah, and if I recall, the blood sword had a name, but I want to get this podcast on it.
It absolutely had a name. Oh my god, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, Gogs, I'm sorry. Elementary school book talk next week.
Well, I mean, I just want to, in order to contribute, I do want to say that if we're talking about fun science fiction novelizations, shout out to the novelization of the Sunsoft Nintendo game Blaster Master, which I bought from a Scholastic book fair. And let me tell you, the heartbreaking story of a kid trying to save his frog from a mutant dimension in a sewer.
Sean and I talk about those books all the time.
Pretty good book, Blaster Master.
I think the Metal Gear villain is named Colonel Vermin Katafi or some shit.
Yeah. It was good times. Anyway, so 2001, pretty good. And the other thing I watched was new to me. I'm still continuing my deep dive into various Shudder properties. And I forget if anyone else watched this. Anyone else watch Burial?
No, I almost did this weekend actually, because it was one of their featured movies. It looked pretty cool.
It's interesting. It's not a horror movie though. It's much more of like a it's much more like a spy, like special. It's more akin to like a Inglourious Bastards or like a Behind Enemy Lines sort of story.
I got it confused. That's the movie where they have the body of Adolf Hitler, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, that trailer looked really good.
So it's a group of Russian commandos it's the day the war is ostensibly over, right? Because Hitler blew his brains out, and then so here's where I got fucked up because I don't know shit about history. I read
you know a lot about history. What are you talking about?
I read the description says Russian commandos secret mission to transport Hitler's body out of Germany attacked by werewolves. And I'm like, fucking dope. Because I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be like, what's the fucking British movie with the werewolves that we love? The Neil Marshall movie?
Dog Soldiers?
Yeah.
That movie
So I was
rocks.
like, fuck yeah, dude. Fucking werewolves and Hitler's corpse. Maybe Hitler's like the supreme werewolf. Where are they going with this? No. Werewolves was a term that they gave to like the never give up Germans that they just hid in the woods all throughout Germany.
I didn't know that.
So there was all these groups of just basically like super hardcore Nazis that they just were basically doing guerrilla warfare in the woods, and they would they were nicknamed werewolves and not.
That's less fun.
Yeah, they were not like the werewolves I thought. The movie, so in a lot of ways, it was a prayer before dying or whatever, that it was a lot less werewolfy than I expected it to be.
Were there any werewolves?
There was the code name werewolves, but there was no.
That's a cop out.
So there was no like supernatural element.
Well, because I'm on Shudder, right? So I figure, oh shit, we're gonna get some Shudder ass werewolves. It's gonna be like Howling with a lot more Sig Heils, but no, it was just never say die, Goonie Germans just attacking these Russians. It got pretty, it was
not what I would have guessed you'd say, but there we are.
But it was, it was an interesting movie, but it was not scary.
Was it good?
It was cool.
The trailer looked really good.
It's well shot. It's very pretty. It's a neat story, but it's much less. It's not like it's interesting to me that Shudder has it. Because it's maybe suspenseful, but it's not like horrifying or mystic or anything like that. It was just about trying to smuggle Hitler's corpse out and a lot of gunfighting. I mean, some of the kills are fucking unpleasant, but give it a look. I enjoyed it.
I definitely want to watch it.
The lead actress is great in it.
What was I think it was on Shudder. You text me, it's like, I gotta watch this, and it's like, hot muscle body build. What the fuck was the name of that movie?
I didn't watch it. I will watch it next week. But it's called, and it's on Shudder, Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell. And the description of the movie is, a bodybuilder must save himself and his friends from a demonic ghost.
I'll watch that. I'll watch that right after this.
Yeah, it sounds
I'll watch
awesome.
that on my exercise bike. We'll watch together mentally. It sounds like the title of a Japanese porno, like just too many words.
Apparently, doing some quick Google search, this is also known as Japanese Evil Dead. So,
It is a Japanese movie.
It's Japanese, yes.
That explains why the title is.
Yeah, I was gonna say a title like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But
right.
Please be Kitamura, or he's dead, right?
yeah, he's no longer with.
It's like sexy office woman with hole in pants. Like there's too many words here for the name of the movie.
Anything else, guys?
Self-report. No, that's it. TJ.
I watched two things. First thing I watched was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I still need to see it.
I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna possibly I will appeal to the recency bias thing, but I think it's the best Guardians movie. To me, this reminded me kind of how I feel about Iron Man 3, where like objectively Iron Man 1 is a better movie, but like I got more of an emotional response from Iron Man 3. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I really enjoyed this movie, like, and I felt like I loved all three of the Guardians movies. I think they're like top tier Marvel films. But I felt like two had moments where kind of drug, but like, I don't know, man, this movie just moves very quickly. And I felt like it does a very good job at like reminding you why you like these characters. And like the thing that I kept thinking about the most as I was watching it is that these characters have been developed so well, like much better than a lot of the other like Marvel characters. And I don't know, man, like James Gunn's there's a level of like effort that goes into his movies that like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as mass produced as a lot of the other like Marvel stuff. Like it definitely still feels like his product. And man, I really enjoyed it. Like there's just a lot to like about this movie. Also, it's like genuinely funny. Like there's a lot of jokes in this movie, like there are in all Marvel movies, but like these jokes actually land, like they're funny. There's a lot of emotional stuff in this movie. Like there's like, I think Sean brought it up when Alec was talking about it last week, but there's, the higher evolutionary like experiments on these animals, and there's scenes with Rocket and his animal friends just break your heart. And like, they do such a good job at these flashbacks. And like, I mean, everything in this was really good. Like I really just came away with it just loving this, like, so much. Can't wait to watch it again. The guy that played the higher Alec, I'm really echoing a lot of Alec's points, but the guy that played the higher evolutionary is so fucking good. Like he's super mustache twirly in this movie, but like he's great. He's such like
they just make him the villain now that Jonathan Majors is going bye town.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows what they're gonna do? Technically he's dead, but like you don't see him die on screen, so you know how that goes in comic book movies. Yeah. But he's so fucking good in this movie. Also, like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like there's like a little slight twist about him towards the end that they kind of teased that I totally missed, and I thought it was super fucking rad. Like I just love this movie. Also, like Chris Pratt's really good in this movie. Like I think like better than like I think Chris Pratt generally is pretty good, but
he shows some range. He shows some range in this one that.
Thank you, Alec. Yeah, exactly.
He really doesn't show in the other ones.
There is some real emotional beats that Chris Pratt like nails. Like
I thought he was pretty good in two though, with his dad and all that shit and his mom.
I don't know if this is a TJ because this is kind of like specific to how deep we are in some of this stuff. Like I don't know, are you worried that like his personal politics are starting to kind of like drag into your opinion?
Oh, it 100% is. I have a hard time separating it, to be honest. Like, but he's really, really good in this movie. Like, I mean, everybody's good. Now, I have a question for the room. And it's funny because like, obviously, like we're deep in the fucking Marvel lore, but I could not for the life of me remember when the hell did Gamora come back?
She came back. She's from the alternate timeline. When
did this happen?
In the second in Endgame.
Endgame, because she was with the other Thanos and Nebula from
Because
the past.
Nebula's brain circuitry talks through time and space.
Yeah, okay. I totally fucking forgot. Like, I was like, when the hell did she come back? Like,
So she's she's the Gamora. She's the pre-Peter Quill Gamora.
Also, like, again, and movies are about, like, what you bring to them, right? But, like, and this might just be what I'm bringing to the movie, but, like, I think, like, they do it very well. But, like, the idea that you lose somebody and they come back, but they're not the same person. Like, Chris Pratt and what's her name? Jesus Christ. Zoe Saldana do a great job because, like, he wants that connection so bad, but, like, she's not that person. And, like, it's done real, again, like, I don't mean to just, like, blow this movie, but, like, I thought, like, it did such a good job at pretty much everything. There's some great action beats in this movie. Like, they say the F word, which is really fun.
You're gonna say the F word?
It's so good. Like, it seems like it's such a little thing, but the delivery of it between Chris Pratt and Nebula is so goddamn good. It's like perfect.
So you know me, you know TJ's movie habits. I went, like, super early. I have, well, maybe not anymore, but, like, I have a different schedule now. So, like, I work 10 4-hour days, so I'm off one day a week now.
Bon Jovi Fridays.
4 10-hour days.
4 10-hour days. Sorry, you know me in time now.
10 4-hour days.
That'd be sweet. I would definitely do that. Anyway, so I was off on Friday, so I was like, I'm gonna go now. Like, I'll go in the morning. I'll go to, like, the first showing. So I saw it, and there were still people in there, but it was only, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 people. But, like, this was a movie that was so funny. I kind of wish I saw it in a big crowd. You know what I mean? You kind of feed off.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, I can't say enough good things, but I fucking love this movie. I'm sad to see these characters, because it's probably, like, if they come back, it's not going to be with James Gunn, and I don't know, I'm kind of sad
But
to see
aren't you
this.
glad that they just kind of wrapped it up?
Yeah, no, I am, but I could definitely, like, I want more of these characters because they did such a good job with them. You know what I mean? And, like, I forget who said it. It's one of the YouTubers or podcasts that I listen to, but they said that, like, they're talking about how, like, they did such a great job with character development, and, like, Nebula is a great example of, like, a character that had, like, a legitimately great arc through all these movies, and, like, it's just really well done, and, like, I just wish that, you know, that the James Gunn's, like, work ethic and, like, his need, because I don't know, you guys probably read the same shit that I did, but, like, James Gunn, like, almost didn't want the Guardians involved in, like, all the Endgame stuff. Like, he wanted to keep his shit, like, separate because he didn't want it to, like, dilute what he wanted to do. I kind of wish that, like, more direct, like, I wish that Sam Raimi took the same approach to, like, fucking Doctor Strange 2, or, like, I mean, there's just a level of, like, care that James Gunn has.
If Sam Raimi had made a movie that made money in the last 30 years, he might have had a little bit more stroke, but.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, I think, like, I think a lot of people are talking about, like, the burnout from Marvel, but I think it's just because these movies start to feel so generic, and, like, this movie does not feel generic, like, at all. It feels, even though it's the third one, it feels very fresh, and I loved it a lot. I thought it was really good. So, I watched that.
I can't get that fucking rabbit out of my head.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the Higher Evolutionary, you know, he does all these, the Rocket is a product of these genetic experiments that he does. And his animal buddies are also these, like, these fucking Cronenberg-esque, like, body horror animals. And there's this rabbit that's literally just, like, a rabbit with, like, the fucking Saw bear trap jaws on, like, spider legs.
Oh.
But, like, it sounds
it's like the fucking kid from Toy Story over here.
But it sounds like a cute little rat. Like, you're still drinking it. He's still drinking it, folks.
He's drinking the water.
And then the one friend, I forget all their names, but the one friend is this cute little otter, and it's like, oh, it breaks
the otter is Lila. That was Linda Cardinelli.
Oh, no shit.
I didn't recognize which I found weird because that's also Hawkeye's wife.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
In the movies and the show.
And then the walrus.
The rabbit was Floor, and the walrus was Teeth.
Teeth. I remember Teeth because he has big teeth. It was so cute. I don't know, man. I love this movie. I really did. It's top tier Marvel for me. Like it's really, really good.
Well, all three of those movies are in like the top 10
Absolutely.
Marvel movies.
I
They're all
totally,
excellent.
I totally agree. And I love this. Also, this movie, a lot of the Marvel movies lately have felt kind of bloated. This movie didn't feel like this movie didn't overstay its welcome like at all. I think it's like 220, but it's still like it moves. Like the movie starts out in nowhere and Adam Warlock attacks, and then from there on it is just
Oh yeah, what'd you think? What'd you think? I thought he was. I've heard mixed reviews
Adam
about him.
Warlock.
I thought he was fantastic. I loved him.
I loved him. I thought he was great. I mean, he's a stupid ass character in the comics. Like don't get it twisted. So like I loved what they did with him, and I thought he was awesome. Like, and I also like he has a little bit of an arc in the movie, and I enjoyed that. Like I thought it's great. I really like I said I have a bad thing to say about the movie. I really enjoyed it. Like it was one of those movies where, like, I'm glad I saw it in a theater, and I felt like it was just like a joy to watch. Like, there's some sadness. What's the fucking Nicole Kidman line? Somehow, heartbreak feels good here. Like, it was like, like, there's some sad moments in the movie, but man, overall, it's just a really, really quality film. In the back of my head the whole time, though, I'm like, man, I don't think James Gunn is gonna pull this off with DC. I just don't think he can do it. I don't know. I don't have faith that I'm going to be able to care as much about the DC characters as I did as the Guardians characters.
Well, it's just like they're not going to let him dick around with Batman and Superman and all that shit the way he can with those characters. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like Warner's like real involved with fucking around with everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll see though, but. Anyway, the other thing I watched couldn't be more different than Guardians 3. I watched, Gaspar Noé, or Noé, however you say his name, Lux. It's called Lux Alterna. It's also on Shudder. This is a movie that he put out between, Climax and Vortex. It's only 52 minutes long. So already it gets like, 5 points for being short. And I loved it. I thought it was great. It's very fast. It's a movie about a movie. So you already know I love movies, about making movies. And it's interesting because I think it's him kind of making a critique on like how like women are treated in film. And that's kind of interesting because a lot of people criticize him for how he treats women in film, even though every actress that he's worked with has nothing but like glowing things to say about him. Funny enough, David Lynch also gets the same critiques and has also had the same testimonials from people.
Famous Roger Ebert talking about fucking
Isabella Rossellini. Yeah. But anyway, this movie it's very interesting. Like, I won't talk to you guys a ton about this, but it's interesting because like, I feel like with this and with Vortex, like he's kind of shifted his, like, there's nothing like crazy violent about this or Vortex. Like, this is very grounded, and there is a lot of like his patented like chaotic like angst that happens in this movie, but it feels very real. Like, I think like he does a really good job at, there's conversations in this movie and they feel natural, which it sounds like it's nothing, but like there's tons of movies I can show you where they have dialogue that does not feel natural and the conversations don't feel organic. I don't know. It's a really cool movie. Again, it's only 52 minutes long. It's on Shudder. Do not watch this if you're epileptic because the movie ends literally with like 10 minutes of flashing red lights. But it's really fucking good. I loved it. Also Charlotte Gainsbourg. You only hire Charlotte Gainsbourg if you want to torture a woman on screen because that's like the only thing she does. Like,
what else was she in?
Well, she's in Antichrist. She's in.
Is she in Returnal?
In Returnal?
She's not the lady that was
the video game.
She wasn't who the mocap actress for. Why am I thinking of? What is she in?
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, she's in a lot of Lars von Trier movies. She's Nymphomaniac. She's
Oh,
in
that's what I know her from.
Antichrist.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she's been in a lot of other stuff, but those two come to mind, and both those movies are about her basically being like brutalized. And this movie is kind of about her being brutalized, like for art. I don't know. I really found it interesting. I'm really happy that Shudder put it out because this was like a hard to find movie. This is like a movie that they only released overseas. Like this came out in 2019. But again, it being so short, like it was one of those things that they just showed at like film festivals. But it's definitely worth checking out. Again, I'll always recommend stuff that's under an hour long because even if you hate it, you don't have to devote a lot of time to it. You know what I mean? He does lastly, it's kind of interesting to see from a filmmaker perspective. So like in Vortex, I talked about a couple of weeks ago, Vortex is shot in a two frames on the screen at the same time, like the whole time. He experimented with that in this because a lot of the conversations are broken up the same way. Not all the time, but like there's two separate cameras on two separate people as they speak. It's a very interesting way to frame conversations. Like, I don't know. I think Gaspar Noé is a fucking genius. Like I will always stand for that guy. Like I think he is just such a creative guy, especially these last two movies are really just movies about people that are talking. Like there's no like real rising action. Like Vortex is one of the most like, I don't know, that movie is incredibly oppressive and brutal by the end with what it's trying to say, but it's really just about people talking. Like there's no action, there's no violence, there's no, explosions or anything, but it's still just like by the time the movie's over, you're like, shit, I'm going to die and no one's going to fucking care. Like it's tough.
Okay, buddy.
In a few years after that, you won't, so it doesn't matter. But anyway,
fair enough.
We're all going out together anyway, so we all know you're gonna keep drinking that drink.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I might not make it till tomorrow, so who gives a shit?
Anyway,
yeah, you better tell Liz and Stacy to start doing some shoulder presses because there'll be some heavy caskets.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I watched. So that's everybody, right? Let's get into
Heavy Caskets would be a good name for this podcast. We don't really need to, like, we can talk. Go ahead.
I think Hotep Queers would still be the best name.
Even though none of us are black. But okay.
So,
debatable.
With this being a comedy, right, that's just basically a series of bits, like, is there much... We can talk about it, like, ostensibly from a plot standpoint.
It's basically the plot of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
With a spoof put on it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, literally the plot is not any different than Lethal Weapon.
I'll put my, like, overall thoughts just in case I get cut off on the way home. This is kind of like Gremlins too, right? Like, if you like a movie that's wall-to-wall gags and never stops, like, this is good. If that sounds tedious, then it might not be for you.
And it was so much for me. I fucking love this movie so much.
It's for me too. Like,
I'm gonna have to be the wet blanket on this one because I think if I watched it with you guys, I think I might have like laughed more. But like most of the bits, I just were like, oh, that's kind of like there was a couple that were funny, but like if you're going for average, the average is very low. Like it's under the Mendoza line.
I think I laughed at so like. I'll put it out in Front Street. I watched this movie in college, and then I kept watching it in college. It got to the point, like everyone on me and some friends from college would quote this to each other repeatedly. Like the part where the guy looks at Samuel Jackson and goes, "Hey, Sarge, it's tingling." He goes, "That means it's working." Or it gets me every time. It got me right now a little bit.
The part before that the part after that when he's at the crime scene and they do the fucking fast acting Tinactin joke. Where he's like, it's an itching, burning feeling. He takes his shoe off and his foot catches on fire. He's like, what the hell do you expect? Your foot's on fire. That's pretty funny.
Where it's like, this chicken shit took the coward's way out. It's like, oh, she must have surprised herself.
Yeah, like, the part where, like, we can do this all night, but, like, it's like, I think, the Wilderness Girls had cocaine. I think that's what got her killed. The captain, without flinching, eating his buffet breakfast. Like, don't think it was the bullets. Like, it's fucking amazing.
Where they're like, no, the lips they're more pouty lips, and it's a Mr. Potato Head, and it's like, that's not that funny, but 5 minutes later, when they're doing something in the background.
They got him. Yeah, that's in the Charlie Sheen scene where he shows up, and like, it's very odd.
Validated. Now, I would have thought that this movie came out way before Hot Shots if you would have asked me, but I guess it was like around the same time.
Well, because they reference it.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about like us being old, so I want to tell you my experience with this film. I rented this off of like on-demand cable, and I taped it. So I had this on like a VHS tape that I used to watch. Like, that's my experience with this movie. I taped it off of cable TV that I paid for.
Well, for people who have not seen this movie, a Blu-ray of it does not exist, because I tried to find one last night. It is one of those films that DVD was the end of it. Like,
did it ever even come out on DVD?
Oh, I have a DVD of it. It's don't get it twisted. I have the VHS, I think, sitting here too. But it's it's just jokes. The whole thing's jokes.
I don't know,
love
dude.
it.
When Williams, shout out to Dennis Leary popping up again.
Yeah,
back to back Dennis Leary.
Well, William Shatner walks in and looks at the fish tank and goes, "Sea monkeys?" It's like, no, those are prawns. I don't know that copy.
Alec, your thoughts?
This movie is fucking tremendous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, probably the last third, it definitely lost some steam. But the first 2/3 or so, like, I was dying the whole time.
Liz had to check on me. I was cackling so hard by myself in the basement.
Man, I wish
fucking Eric Estrada's trying to get his partner's attention, like, "Hey, Larry," and then he shoots at him next to his head.
I don't know, man.
How do you feel about Hot Shots?
I mean, I remember liking this. I remember liking Hot Shots. I don't know.
Have you gotten too old for spoof movies?
I mean, maybe I didn't find it funny. Like, the jokes didn't land. Like, I liked. I'll tell you, my favorite joke in the whole movie. Well, there's two. I'll give you my number one and number two. My favorite joke in the whole movie was when they go out to their car. They go out to their valet car, and the valet explodes. And then they're like, "Taxi," and the taxi explodes. And like, that was very funny. But no, I really liked when Phil Hartman showed up, and he's like, "Oh, if you think you're so funny, maybe you make the whole platoon laugh." And they do like a whole like night at the improv thing, and he goes, it was like, "What do you call 10,000 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? A good start." Like, that was great, and it was I just like seeing Phil Hartman. Like, it makes me happy. And it makes
Corey Feldman shows up for one scene
Corey
for
Feldman
no reason.
I love that scene. Nobody shoot no matter what, and they get shot at by like a billion bullets. And he fires off one round. And Jackson, what did I say?
Everybody, come out with your hands down and your weapons up.
He botches the line. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because, we talk a lot about shit we remember from movies. I remember so much from this movie. Like, the scene where, John Lovitz is like, "I'm doing some money laundering," and they open the closet and he's got like a washing machine with money in it. Like, I remember that so well. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they might have used this in Naked Gun 2, but like, Naked Gun also, not Naked Gun 2. But they asked Kathy Ireland, "Do you sleep in the nude?" And she goes, "Only when I'm naked." That's also from Naked Gun, right? Like, I feel like Priscilla Presley said that as well. But guys, I vividly remember that line. I was like, also, shout out to Kathy Ireland.
Smoke show.
Kathy Ireland, like, reminded me of a simpler time.
$420 million, I looked it up.
Currently? For what?
Yeah, dude, she owns some kind of like clothing business.
I think she has a clothing line in like Kohl's or something.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. She makes $1 billion, like a mint off of it.
Wasn't she? Yeah. She was in that football comedy movie, right?
Roughness. Welcome to Foot.
Yeah, she's the kicker. Yeah, welcome to
How
Foot.
How can you not touch that? Scott Black is like 52. He's like fucking Stetson Bennett going back to college.
Yeah, that's shocking we haven't watched that one yet.
Give it time. Give it time. Oh, good. Okay, the Orioles lost, and they almost gave the opposing pitcher the cycle.
Yeah, I know. It was bad. It was not a good game. I mean, that opposing pitcher is probably the best baseball player we'll ever see in our lifetime, but still.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that guy, Alec, I don't know if you watched any of the game, but that guy got a triple, and he looked like he was just leisurely jogging around the bases. I've never seen anything like it. Like, he wasn't even in full stride, and it was just like, oh, he's at third already. Like, guy's ridiculous. Anyway. Orioles sign Shohei Ohtani, please. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They got the budget for that.
Also, it's hilarious. This is totally nothing to do with the thing, but it's funny to watch people in supposed baseball fan groups not understand that a designated hitter, like, could also be the pitcher. Like, that's just how it works. Like,
Yeah.
Learn the rules, maybe. Anyway, yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
A bunch of these references are like crazy old, even for
They're
like
incredibly
its
dated.
time. Like even for its time, though. Like, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
I think the movie, like the ones that don't land for me, are the ones that where they're hyper specifically referencing another movie. You know what I mean, or something. Where it's like, that's
like
not,
no one's gonna get
that
the
was
Basic
maybe-
Instinct joke now, right? Like new people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I would argue that new people would probably miss 98% of the jokes because
Most of it.
the jokes, literally the joke most of the time is just Lethal Weapon. I mean, like Emilio Estevez is just Riggs, right? Like that's.
I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, right. I know. Also, real quick, Bruce Willis is in this movie. Do you think he got paid his $5 million for this fucking scene?
He's hilarious in this
It's a good
scene.
joke. Yeah.
I love,
but like I could not stop. I was like, did he get paid his quota for just showing up here?
He wasn't like Bruce Willis then, right? I mean, I know like Die Hard obviously come out, but it wasn't like Armageddon era Bruce Willis.
Yeah, you're probably right. That probably didn't come on until later. You're probably right.
I think this movie only cost like $8 million, and it made like.
Doesn't cost much.
Or something. Yeah.
I think. I know. Can we talk about how, at least in my opinion, how good Tim Curry and Whoopi Goldberg are in this movie?
Yeah,
I love
Tim Curry's
I love
fun.
Tim Curry and everything, but like Whoopi Goldberg's like not being like her like zany annoying. She's like legitimately being funny and like
she's only in it for like 5 seconds.
When he takes off the wig and then she takes off the wig, I was done. I was like, all right.
And then there's some weird like I don't know, because it's the 90s and you have to do some weird like transpanic shit. Like she pulls a rolled up sock out of her pants. Like
well, after he pulls his bra off, she pulls the sock out of her pants.
It's like okay, like what was that? Like I don't know.
Every time they cut to Samuel Jackson not being able to fire his gun, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like he's just like
just shaking and drooling and like
John Lovitz.
Or the fucking dog.
Oh, I love John.
It's like
I love John Lovitz when they first encounter him in the hotel or the apartment or whatever it is, and I was like, why are you here? Well, I can't afford a bigger place.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, well, no, but what are you doing here right now? Well, my roommate left and he didn't sign the lease, and I'm kind of stuck on my own.
Yeah. I love that he kept dying and kept showing back up. Like that was like his bit.
Had Lethal Weapon 3 come out? Is he supposed to be like Joe Pesci?
Yeah, he's supposed to be Pesci's character, yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
What was where she's like, next time maybe we shouldn't just lay in bed and smoke cigarettes.
I like
definitely more on the airplane side of spoof movies than it is like our like generation of spoof movies. Like it's very like vaudeville like. Yeah.
I like the shit. Never mind. I totally lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter. Continue. Oh, I like how Samuel Jackson, like the whole time Emilio Estevez is like mourning the loss of his partner. They all think it's like a cop and he's talking about his dog. It's pretty funny to me. Like you never had
the lighter fluid on the grill.
Yeah. You never had your dog. You never had a partner that would smell your nuts and like lick your asshole or whatever. It's like,
I usually pissed on my leg when she got excited.
Yeah.
The fucking one joke that really lands for me is they pull up to what I guess is Kathy Ireland's office. It's like, you can't be the same buck-toothed pig turtle so and so at the high school. It's like, no, I'm not. But the office
I'm not.
this way.
Yeah, no, I'm not. So yeah. See, this is why we don't pick comedies on the show. You can't really.
Well, this isn't just a comedy. This is like, it's not even just a comedy. It's barely. It's barely a movie. It's just hilarious.
It's hardly a movie.
You have to just love shtick, or you're not like this film.
No.
Yeah. Alec, what was your favorite aspect of the film?
I liked when they confiscated the bikes and the bikes blow up.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. That was good.
I liked one of the first scenes where he brings when he brings Colt home for dinner with his family, and his daughter starts like playing footsie with him. Oh yeah. And then his son starts playing footsie with him. And then the dog starts playing footsie with him. And then the wife comes home, and she was a model, right?
That's Amon. That's
that's what I know.
No, it's not Amon.
She comes home with
oh shit.
When it's Steve, the produce manager. And say, we're gonna go to my mother's for a few days. Like, honey, it's been 6 months. Your mother's been dead for 6 months. Like, what? Did I forget to give you that message?
I'm really glad you brought that scene up, because that scene without the jokes is literally like a David Lynch movie. Like I couldn't think about that the whole time. Like the ultra sexual kids, and then like, oh, your mom's dead and I didn't tell you. That literally plays out. Like, it felt like the scene in Eraserhead. Like,
I love when that scene ends. That scene ends with them walking out of the kitchen. There is a full-size poster of Samuel L. Jackson, like, holding up like a marlin, like, taped to the side of their refrigerator that is completely unexplained.
Well, like when they go to wherever and they've got the giant cutout of Larry Bird, the cops were just taking pictures with.
Oh, it was at Dennis Leary's house with one of the girls, I believe, was Denise Richards.
Oh, really?
One of them was Denise Richards.
Oh shit!
No shit.
It was her first acting role.
Also, they were a reference to the goddamn Simply Irresistible video, which is like, you're really. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's first singing it, I was like, "Is this Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine?" And I completely forgot that Dennis Leary was in this movie.
Like, we can't have him here. He's gun crazy. He just shoves a gun in his mouth. Like, who the fuck gives you the right to say that?
His other hand trying to pull it back.
General Motors shoves his face in the fish tank and pulls out a piranha, and the look on Tim Curry's face.
You know General Motors while I drive a Buick.
You wish.
General Motors.
Oh, yeah, they burned all that cocaine, and then when they sobered up 12 years later.
That ring the ring he pulls out of that fish tank is so stupid. It's like a little, it's almost like the ring that the Simpson kids had where they were blowing into. It was like spinning and whistling.
There's also a throwaway line about how William Shatner started the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Oh God, this movie. TJ's wrong.
Yeah.
I can accept being wrong. I don't know. All right, let's get into Five Knuckle Shuffles. I have to pee really bad. Why not? Gogs. How much of that drink is left, by the way?
Half.
You might as well finish it off.
I will before the evening's over. But the movie's...
It's a 10? Did you say 10?
It's a 10.
Jesus
Christ. I love it. I said on the text message, I can't objectively review this film. Is it really a 10? No, but to Gogs, it's
This
10.
is also the man that gave Q the Winged Serpent a 10. That's why that Q the Winged Serpent review is going to bite you in the ass, because like it just everything else is diminished by it.
Also, fucking as far as Emilio Esteban's go, Alex Cox's fucking surreal masterpiece, Repo Man 7, Loaded Weapon 1.
You
know what? Don't yuck my yums. I love it. It brings me nothing but fond
So I have many questions about your yums with you drinking that drink of this whole show.
All I'm saying is,
I think we might have to strike his whole score after that drink. Like,
whatever you need to do. I'm just saying, this movie rules. It's a ton of fun. I was cracking up the entire time. I hadn't watched it in a long time. I might watch it again this week. I love it. When Emilio walks into fucking Samuel Jackson's house, like swinging his gun around, and he pops in the bathroom. He's like, "What's wrong?" He goes, "Nothing. Taking a shit." Dead. I'm dying the whole movie. It's fucking hilarious. Is it mostly nostalgia? Probably, but doesn't matter. I had a great time with it. Alec.
I'm going to give it an 8. I really enjoyed it.
That's a much more reasonable score.
I did feel it lost some of its steam towards the end. And maybe it was just with the fact that it is so dated. I mean, the movie's like 30 years old. Think about that.
It is.
Yeah, I know. God.
30 years old.
30 and flirty.
Like, I saw a meme. It was like people think what they think about when they think of Zelda 20 years ago, and I was like the original Zelda graphics. It's like what actually Zelda was 20 years ago, and it's like the 128-bit graphics that look really good. Yeah. Like 20 years ago was a long time ago now. I still enjoyed the movie. I liked it a lot. I thought Emilio was great. I thought Samuel L. Jackson's really good. I think this was the first movie I ever saw him in, at least that I can remember. Samuel L., not Emilio. I definitely saw Young Gun before I saw this. Kathy Ireland's really good. John Lovitz is good. William Shatner just chewing up the scenery whenever he's in a scene.
Yeah, Shatner is a lot of fun in this.
And Dennis Leary. I love him and Shatner have like the quote off, or whatever you want to call it. And then what does Dennis Leary say? It's like, there's no time for
fussing and fighting
my friends. And Dennis and Tim Curry has like the quote or the book of quotes by Walt Whitman or something. He's like, no. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that TJ didn't like it. I would have thought it would have been right up.
So am I, to be honest.
Right up his alley, but oh well.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Sean gone.
It looks like he's still here.
He would have given it a 10.
There's no way he would have given it a 10. Gogs, text Sean and see if he can reconnect so he can get his score. Alec, just pass it to me for now, and I'll vamp for
him. TJ.
So this is like one of the hardest scores that I ever had to give because I don't think it's objectively bad. It didn't land for me personally. I can appreciate the fact that I'm wrong. So I'm going to give this it's going to be a 6 for me, dog. Because I also think that if I watched this with you guys, I think I would have really had a lot more fun with it. It was watching it alone. I was just like the most this movie got to me was like, that's kind of funny. Like I never really laughed out loud the whole movie. Like I thought
you didn't lull.
I did not lull. I did not lull copter. Like I don't think it's bad, but I just think it felt really dated to me, and I didn't I hate to say this, but it felt like the thing that I can't stand the most in I'm going to say modern, but it's not even modern because they haven't made one of these movies in 15 years. But the scary movie parody kind of things, like Date Movie and all that crap where they just made the reference. They didn't really make a joke. That's kind of, this movie does a lot, or they just kind of they just make the reference. They don't really add context to the reference. I don't know. I don't know. Again, in a different environment, I probably would have liked this a lot more. I probably should have been a lot more drunk and a lot less tired. But yeah, a lot of the jokes just fell flat for me and I was just kind of bored. So yeah, it's a 6 for me, dog. Sorry, everybody.
It's okay. As long as Sean gives it an 8 or better, it's a certified good ass movie.
Uh-oh, he's muted. Sean, you're here, but you're muted. I don't know if you can hear us.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 6.5. Teacher's right. So what are you up to, Gogs? How you doing?
I'm great.
This is awkward.
I feel gross. Sean gives it an 8, and we can move on. We're gonna watch Men at Work next week, and that'll be that.
Wait,
Ooh,
whose pick is it? Is it
Mine.
your pick?
Yeah. Sean's gone again.
Now Sean's gone. Hopefully he'll join and we'll get his score. If not, I'll stitch it in after the fact.
Clip Chimp is 8 in there, but yeah.
So it's your pick next week. We're watching Men at Work.
Yep, Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, where they play garbage men that rob a bank. Isn't that the plot of that movie?
I think they uncover a plot about they find a body in a trash can.
Yeah, okay.
And somehow it's like a cover up, and then they're wanted or something.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it seems like, let's get some. I enjoyed seeing Charlie Sheen ever so briefly in this movie, so let's run it back.
It's funny when they are like next to each other, you realize like how much they look alike. They have a very, you know what I mean? Besides the hair, they're very similar looking. You can tell they're siblings,
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will say, as far as jokes that work for me, when Sam Jackson gives Charlie Sheen the tip, he's like, "You got anything smaller?" He's like, "No, keep it." "You got anything larger?" That's kind of funny. That would be my Blu-ray quote. Kind of funny. Like, that's how I felt about most of the movie. Kind of funny. I miss Phil Hartman. R.I.P. Phil Hartman.
Oh, I know. Rest in power.
Okay, he's back. Oh, Sean, can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine. What's your score, buddy?
It's a 7. Like, I'm
dying.
Now, like, it runs out of gas a little bit. Oh my god. Are you?
Sorry.
Matter?
Gogs.
If you give it an 8, it would be a certified good-ass movie, but you went one too low.
I'm sorry. I can't do it, man. Like, I really liked it. I had fun. And, like, I love, like, old school, like, kind of, like, Punch and Judy shtick. But it is dated, and it does run out of gas. And, like, we talk about the Edgar Wright movies all the time because, like, it functions as this, but it's also a spoof. Or this is just kind of a spoof and, like, doesn't really function all that well as a movie unto itself. But, like, I enjoyed it.
Too much spoof, not enough goof.
Yeah. So next week, Sean,
he didn't say it, but
I can tell.
He definitely agrees with it. Next week, Sean, we're watching Men at Work. If you can hear us.
Oh, Sean's okay.
What's that?
Next week, we're watching Men at Work.
Hell yeah. Never touch another man's fries. A phrenologist feels and interprets the size of Walt's asshole.
All right. Well, that's the show.
All
right. Gogs, drink some water. I don't even know. Maybe what's that stuff you drink
touch
if you
grass.
like? Yeah, I don't know. Is there like Epicat?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shit that makes you throw up. You might want to take that.
I'm good. I do not feel good. It's
no, of course
not. I don't feel good. I don't feel drunk. I just don't feel good.
No,
but that's okay.
No.
I felt not good before. I'll feel not good again.
Yeah, I feel not good most days. So
yeah.
I understand.
I'll power right through this.
All right, everybody. That's the show. Eat your own ass. And can't wait for Men at Work. Looking forward to that.
Keep it 100 out there.
Hell yeah.
All right. Bye.
For knowledge.
Bye, everybody.
Live rent free. Bye.
Bye-bye.